Joy Division's 1979 New Dawn Fades is about as gorgeous as it is devastating. But what makes this pioneering darkwave song so deeply despairing to the point that it can bring you into its orbit and you find yourself embodying that very dread and sadness and despair that the song invokes? My name's Erin. I'm so glad you're here at Newish Wave. Today, I'm going to argue that in addition to the haunting lyrics and wonderful vocal delivery in this song, I think compositionally, it is built for despair. The chord structure walks us from minor, and back to minor, relentlessly again and again for the entire song, with the bass and guitar following them literally the entire time. This journey of minor to major to major to minor again, I believe, is built to make us feel hope for a moment and then lose it again and again, almost like a Sisyphus type of cycle, just as the lyrics are showing with this song that to me means, well, I had hope for myself or the situation or the relationship or for who I would become. And I've tried again and again to make myself a way that I would feel good about. But in the end, I have to look back at myself and realize that I didn't make it. This is a very hopeless song. And I really want to talk about how it's just written so beautifully and intelligently that we can't help but feel that. So I'm going to talk about the chord structure. We'll delve briefly into what is a minor and a major chord anyway, and why would that matter? And we'll look at which chords they chose for their song. Then we'll walk through the bass line and the guitar lines and see how those two in a dance together bring out a sadness that we just can't help but feel throughout the entire song. All right, so New Dawn Fades is built on 4 chords. Let's hear them. I think you're going to be able to guess which ones are minor or major just by hearing which ones sound melancholy or more hopeful, because that's going to become the torturous cycle that we're part of during this song. So we start with E minor. Things might be kind of bad. I'm feeling a little unsure. We go to D. The sun might be shining, actually. Then we go to C. I feel like it does, and yet my hope is starting to wander a little bit. To A minor. Yeah, there are issues, right? We heard that minor, major, major, minor, and they have that cycle of not so hopeful to yeah, it's actually bleak, which does, I think, overlay on the lyrics, where we hear Ian reflecting about, well, I looked at myself and it wasn't what I had hoped to see, right? Okay, so how do these 4 chords work together? Let's first talk about what makes a minor chord or a major chord, and then we'll come back to that chord progression. So I'll put it on the screen real quick. A minor and a major chord is kind of similar. It's just something has changed with that middle note. So you'll see both chords have the same top and bottom note. So if I'm in D major, I have D on the bottom and A on the top. In the middle, I have F sharp. If I were to make it a minor, all I would do is walk that middle note down a step, whether it's black key or white key, 1 step. Now I have D minor. So what changed was the distance between the 1st and 3rd note and the distance between the 3rd and 5th note. So it's always about the relationships between notes and chords, or the distance between them. And when we change from the distance of a major chord, which is 4 steps between the first 2 notes and then 3 steps between the others, down to a 3 and 4, we get that saddened sound. And so we saw how we had the 1st and 4th chord have that saddened song, but the middle 2 had a more hopeful sound. So as the song continues, it's 2 of each, right? When we do minor, major, major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, minor, again and again and again. Now, what's also interesting about this song is it's written in the key of E minor, When I use my handy chord chart, I'm actually going to look at the G instead. Seems like kind of a strange choice to make, but a song can be represented in two different keys typically. So this song is in E minor, that's its minor key, but a song will have a relative major key, which is G in this case. And what that means is that those two keys all use the same notes. They sharp the same notes, they flat the same notes, they're using the same key signature. So that's my reason for looking at G here, because this wheel is built on the majors, on the major keys. But with G, we can then look and see, okay, number one, we are never using our one chord. We are never using our home tonic in a way, if we look at it from this perspective. So that's unsettling. And then we can also see that when we go from E minor to D, we're going from a 6 to a 5, which is a minor feel to a major feel, to a 4 to a 2. We could think also about those chords that 6s and 2s are more likely to have an unsteady, unsure feeling. 5s are likely to feel the most confident, and 4s are like a confident maybe, especially in this song. All right, let's apply this to the actual instruments, check out the bass and guitar lines, and see how they bring these concepts and moods from the chords forward in the song. Okay, so first the bass, and right after I talk through the bass and guitar here, I'm gonna put the camera above and play it all so you can see the notes. The bass is walking down those 4 chords, the main note of those chords. Right? And I'm not doing the exact rhythms right, but it walks down in Peter Hook's amazing style and with distortion and really cool timing, those 4 exact chords. So we know then the foundation of this song is that same feeling of like, right? He's just gonna carry that feeling the whole way through. Okay, let's overlay the guitar on that and then see how they work together. The guitar walks through 3 main riffs, and I'll put it all on the screen right after this with the bass together so you can see how they really create a story of repetitive sadness here, looking at the things that we've hoped for and lost. We start with the, right, just the intro. To me, that's like, maybe I will get up out of bed today. On second thought, maybe not. Then we go to a lot of wondering. And then throughout the piece, we're hearing behind the vocals and with that plodding bass, these beautiful arpeggios really bringing out a song of sadness in this really gorgeous way that's very devastating throughout. And it's sort of like this. With the bass, it's even worse. I'm going to put on the aerial view with the camera and play those together so you can really hear how deep it gets. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know your thoughts on this song. I think it is just one of the pioneering songs, really quite a compositional masterpiece that set the tone for dark wave and new wave to come. Thanks for watching. I'm Erin. I hope to see you soon.